Okay, ignore my voice, and I apologize for the video being kind of basic, but so I only have a few minutes and I'll do this part real quick. So I've mixed up my colors. I have a dark red, a light red for the shadows, and then a dark red and light red for the highlighted areas. So what I will do is there's not much shadow, so in this shadow over here, I'm going to start putting down one of my darks, my dark reds. I went ahead and I'm going to avoid where that branch goes for now. And I didn't put any liquid or anything in this paint. It's just straight from the tube. So I'm hitting all the spots that I would consider shadows on the bird. I want to be kind of mindful of where my lines are, but it's okay if you're a little out of the lines, if you're comfortable with like reshaping it with paint later on. Now, if you're not and you really need your lines, then just be a little bit more careful than what I'm being. And then I'm going to take my light color dark red, so it's still dark, but you'll see like now it's lighter. I don't know if you can see that little bit of a difference. I'll make it more. So within my dark red, I'm going to add in some variations. See those? So it's still a dark color, just so that it's not so flat. And you could have, like, instead of doing another red, I could have actually done purple or maybe a strong blue if you wanted to get really kind of contemporary with your colors. And then there's a little bit of a shadow over here too. Not much. I'm using the lighter shadow color on that side. And then right along this side of his head is a little bit lighter shadow color. So when you're blocking in, you just want to look for those small shifts. Then I'll do the exact same thing for the lighter areas. So I've mixed up 2 light reds, one darker than the other. And right now I'm not really highlighting. I'm just going to put them both on here. And I'll avoid the branch again. So this time I'm going to dip into the lighter one. You can't really see it on there, so I'll make it more noticeable. So you can see now, if I get rid of that glare, there's just the slightest variation in the red. And neither one of these colors are as bright or as vibrant as your highlight will be. So I'm just going to finish. There's no rhyme or reason to which red is where at this point. Now later on, of course, it does matter a little bit more, but right now it doesn't really matter. And then I feel like with birds, you can get carefree with everything except their beak and their eyes. I feel like those need to be fairly accurate. So just short strokes, not actually like trying to fill in the whole shape like you're trying to be efficient. Have fun with it. This is a fun part. This is where you can make your mistakes and then go back and redo them. Then there's a little bit of red shadow right there, a little bit of red shadow right here. And then it's the lighter reds that go on down his tail. So all these colors right here are still dull enough and dark enough that when you get ready to put in some vibrant pops of color, your poppy reds will show up. Because if you do these too bright in the beginning, then there's nowhere left for you to highlight because you've already put in too bright of a color. So at this stage, it should kind of start to make sense. And then on the background, to block it in the picture, I can see that there are some areas that are kind of like a bluey color right in here. So I'm just going to kind of put some, I'll probably just go over those branches. Placeholder there. Looks like there's a little bit up there that's kind of a bluish right in there. So what I'm doing now is I'm just looking at the spots that are kind of blue and just kind of loosely putting some of those in there. And then there's that one pretty dominant brown. It's like a vertical that runs right through here. And it looks like it kind of, the values in the background matter, not so much the color, but you need darks to make your bird stand out a little bit more, or lights, depending on where you're at on your bird. Then I'm going to take this color here, whatever this is, and I'm just going to kind of like, oh, you can't see, sorry. So now I got like a yellow ochre and blue and gray, and I'm just going to literally scrub this in. I'll be real careful next to the bird, but otherwise I'm just going to scrub it. I don't want to completely mix away my blue spots if I can help it, which I just did on that one. So on this one, I'm going to try to stay around it. I'm just kind of scrubbing this all in. And I just grabbed some dark. And some light. And some blue. Blue down here. So I'm just going to keep scrubbing, alternating these gray-brown colors. But nothing in the background should have a defined edge. The only defined edge should be the bird and the branch that the bird is on. Everything else should be kind of fuzzy. And this background would go in a little bit easier if I had used something to thin my paint with, liquid or something. But keep your background colors extremely dull and kind of grayed down. And put this last little bit here. And you don't have to go this fast. I'm going this fast because my lunch break's almost over. Would like to go slower. Down here in this corner, I did introduce a little bit of green. And on the background, I didn't wipe my brush or clean my brush between any of the colors. I just kind of let them all go. So I feel like the background got kind of flat. So what I would do about that is I would get a fresh brush and quite a bit of white. I'm going to mix in a little bit of yellow ochre. White in the background, because it kind of desaturates the colors. It also gives a feeling of airiness. So see this white that I just put in? So I'm just going to kind of like keep feathering it around. So I don't want to go back in the center where it was really bright. And then I might do the same thing with the tiniest bit of blue and white. Definitely more white than blue, because you want to keep it really light to create like some pockets of seeing the sky through these trees. Put a little more blue right there. And blend it around. And it's okay if there's still some canvas showing at this phase.